What's going on, everybody? If you like how that sounded, drop a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. And you'll be notified every time I post a video, tutorial, giveaways, all that kind of stuff. So let's jump right into it. I just heard this song for the first time this morning, and it was too good for me to not just record a YouTube tutorial and put it out there for you guys to learn from. So here we go. As always, I'm going to play the requinto 2 times slow, 1 time regular speed. We're going to break it down in different segments, and then we'll get into the chords. Last thing before we get started, I am tuned down to D, which means all of my strings are 2 notes lower than they would be in standard tuning. All the tabs on screen are in standard tuning. Everything I'm going to explain would be in standard tuning. My fingers will just be 2 frets higher than a normal guitar would sound. I just like it that way, a little bit less tension on the guitar. Makes me feel better about having my guitar last a little bit longer. So just for an example, right here, I'm playing on 9 and 7. You guys will be on 7 and 5. It's going to sound different. Mine's going to be 2 notes lower, right? But your 7 and 5 should sound just like that if you're in standard tuning. All right, so the first part, here we go. Honestly, the whole requinto is pretty simple. You're just jumping back and forth from 2 different positions, and you kind of repeat that across the entire song, just in different locations. So just hang with me here. Don't give up. I promise you, once you get these little passes back and forth locked down solid, the requinto is actually pretty easy. Just one thing I want to touch on that first little piece there is this slide up. Now, you could leave that kind of boring or just wiggle it a little bit. You know, give it some flavor. Just kind of builds into the tension of the song. All right, the second part. Same exact things we did on the first part, right? Slide up, give it a little wiggle, yeah? Whether you want to push up or pull down, either one. Kind of makes the guitar sounds like it's singing, right? Which is freaking awesome. All right, on to the third part. Now, if you noticed, I had a little crescendo going on. If you listen to the song closely, it's quiet and then gets to loud, right? And then, I know I said it's a third part, right? It's also the fourth part. It repeats itself, right? Just one time. And that's it. You don't have to do this little fast part there. You could always just go, just hit it like 2 times, 3 times, right? As long as you stay within the rhythm of the song. Now for the second half of the requinto, we're going to be doing the exact same thing, but just on these middle 2 strings, right? Now for me, I'm on 6 and 4. You guys are going to be on 4 and 2. As the tabs say, just look at the tabs. It'll make sense. I promise. So the first part of the second half. Notice how it's exactly the same as this. Same thing. We're just moving it down to the lower strings. Now guess what? The next part, exactly the same. Don't forget, throw a little wiggle in there, right? And then just like we did on the high strings, right? We're gonna do that here on these lower strings. Here we go. And you guessed it, just like on the high strings, we're going to repeat that one more time. And don't forget, we're going to slide up from this back position here at 4 and 2 for you guys, 6 and 4 for me, 4 and 2 if you're in standard tuning, all the way up to me. I'm here in 13 and 11. You guys will be 11 and 9. So right here, we're going to jump right into it. That's it. you got the requinto down. All right, now don't be discouraged. I understand there are big jumps in there, and that takes a bit of time to practice to get good at. Only thing I could recommend is kind of like a tip to get over that is look where you want your fingers to go, right? Don't look up here and then try to guess. Like I look up here and then I'm looking down here where I want my fingers to go. My eyes will be ahead of my hands. It kind of helps, maybe. I don't know. Figure out what works for you. Do it a bunch of times until it becomes easy. All right, let's jump into the chords. So for the chords, there's a couple of different ways we can go about this. I'm going to show you the easy way, and then I'm going to show you another way that I think sounds really good because the song is very bassy. So we'll just start with this one first. Now I'm in standard tuning on this guitar, so you can copy my hands exactly as the way they are. So for the first chord progression, we're going to have this minor chord up here with the ring finger on the 4th fret of the D string, and then barring 2 frets back. I'll go into more depth in a minute, but that first chord, then sliding up to the 7th fret, here's our second chord. We're going to have a little major chord where our middle finger is now going to slap down on the 6th fret of the G string, then you'll just bar the rest on the 5th, right? And then we're going to do this little walk down going 7, 6, 5. Pointer fingers on 5 on the A string, and then you really only need to hit these 3 strings in the middle. You don't need to hit this high E because that ends up making it a major something. I don't know. It's not necessary. If you want to slap that pinky on there, you can. To me, it's kind of tough, so I just like to hit these middle 3. Then you're back to the beginning. So that's sort of the basic chord progression. I'm going to show you 2 different things that you can do to this. Now, so I'll keep this chord the same, this little minor chord, right? I have diagrams here so you can follow along, or there, or here. It's on the bottom somewhere. All right, there's the minor. Then we come up here to the major. 2 pretty easy chord shapes. This one, if you're a beginner, can be kind of tricky. So what you can do is just make your kind of basic major chord. Right? Or I don't even know if this is a major. It's just the letter chord. We call it a triad. I don't know. But we'll put our middle finger here on the 5th fret of the A string. Pointer finger 1 fret back, 1 string below as well. So that'll be your D string on the 4th fret. And then pinky here on the 7th fret of the G string. Just those 3 fingers. So I'll just play it through one time. It's easier, in my opinion, than trying to hit that chord. You just hit this one. Still sounds actually really good with the song. Still sounds pretty good. So as I said earlier, this song is kind of bassy. So if you can kind of tap into that with the chords, you get this more fuller sound, you know, if you're playing it live rather than having a professional recording. I just think it sounds pretty cool, and it mimics or you could say it parallels the bass line as it goes on. So I'll walk you through these chords real quick. It's the same sort of theory, having this minor chord, because that normally walks between these 2 bass notes. But let's just hit both of the bass notes at the same time, and I'll move my middle finger out of the way. And we'll just bar 2 frets behind. So what we're looking at is, let's go ahead and just bar ahead of time the 2nd fret. And then right here on the A string, you'll put your ring finger. And then the string below it, the D string, on the 4th fret as well, you put your pinky. Middle finger, leave it off, put it over here, do whatever you want. That's your first chord. It's a little bit fuller, right? And I don't know if you can hear that, but to me it sounds sweet. Then what you can do is just slide up, keep your fingers in the exact same place, right? Fingers are on the same strings. Slide up to where now your bar is on the 5th fret, but slap this middle finger down here on the G string, right, on the 6th fret. You can see where that is. right there. Same chord shape, but now we're adding this middle finger to make it a major chord. All right, make sure you're hitting that bass note, that low E on the top. And now it is a A major. You don't have to do the walk down, but I think it sounds cool. You can always walk up. I'll just walk down because it's already in that little fret spot. So 7, 6, 5 on the A string, and we're gonna go back to that A something. I think it's just an A chord. I don't know if you would even call it a major. So that's right. That's A right here, A string with your pointer finger on the 5th fret, and then we're gonna go bar 3 here. If you want to get the last E string, you can if you want, or just leave those 3 on the 7th fret and get that A string on the top. So this is where I think it actually sounds awesome with the song, is when you walk back to the first chord, you go here on the low E string, right? Hit it on the 5th fret and you go 5, 4, 2, right? And then hit that note. Right? I think it sounds pretty sweet. So that was a pretty quick tutorial. Thank you for being here. Don't leave just yet. If you want to get any of the guitars, picks, mic, literally anything I have, strings, everything, you can find links to that in the description below. Shout out Sweetwater, Earthworks Audio, D'Angelico Guitars. I love you guys, and thank you for everything you do and everything you do for my followers. So if you haven't already, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, subscribe to me on YouTube, and I'll see y'all in the next video.